Welcome to the Software People Stories. I'm Shiv.
I'm Chitra.
And I'm Gayatri.
We bring you interesting, untold stories of people
Associated with the creation
Or consumption of software-based solutions.
You'll hear stories of what worked,
and sometimes what didn't,
you will also hear very personal experiences.
and insights that would trigger your thoughts
And inspire you to do even greater things.
Before we jump into today's conversation, a special thanks to PM Power Consulting for encouraging and supporting this show right from the start. With over 1,000 person-years of collective experience, PM Power has helped many organizations, teams, and individuals chart out their own journeys of excellence and make progress. Thank you, PM Power. Now, let's move to today's episode. In this engaging episode, Anees shares his remarkable journey in the IT industry, starting from his humble beginnings in a lower middle class family in India to becoming a prominent figure in various leadership roles. Anees discusses his educational background in engineering, his early struggles with job interviews, and the pivotal break that led him to a successful career. He emphasizes the importance of self-belief, continuous learning, and the role of mentors in professional growth. Anees also delves into his experiences with various organizations, including IBM, and his current role where he oversees multiple portfolios, including operational excellence and data privacy. Additionally, Anees highlights his involvement in Toastmasters and the BSPIN network, advocating for networking and professional development at any stage of one's career. He also shares his personal methods for managing time and staying grounded. This episode is filled with practical tips and inspiring anecdotes, making it a valuable listen for anyone in the software industry. Listen on. So, hi Anees, welcome to the Software People Stories.
Hi, good morning, Shiv.
Good
Great
morning.
to be here.
Yeah, it's wonderful to connect or reconnect after a long time. But I'm sure there has been a lot of other things also that have happened during this time. But before we get into those details, we'll start with a self-introduction. You can talk about your origin story, how you got associated with the IT industry, and what are the things that you've been doing, and we'll take it.
Okay. Thank you, Shiv, for this opportunity first, and let me congratulate you that you're doing a great, I would say, giving back to the community, something which is most needed. I mean, this is my personal experience. People love to hear more about themselves and something which they can take it or try to bring in a change in themselves, right? So let me just go back in time and maybe not talk from spend more time on my childhood, but we'll start from there. If I have to, if I have to draw a visual picture of myself from where I come from and then where do I stand today. So my roots go back to a very small and a most beautiful city in the world. It's called Udaipur from Rajasthan. Today it's called as a wedding destination or, one of the best tourist attractions in the world. People flock over from all over the parts of the world to be here for various purposes. But from a lower middle class family, my father was a banker and he retired now. So he retired as a CEO when he left the bank job and then continued with the advisor. So our family had been obviously just like an average Indian family where you would buy stuff when you have occasions coming like Diwali or Eid and those kind of celebrations. And I am actually born and brought up in that kind of environment. So a lot of social values, a lot of respect for the society, a very, very strong belief system, caring for elders, caring for the community, caring for people. So that's the kind of upbringing I am been into. My sibling, my sister, she's now settled in Dubai and she's happy with her family out there. And we moved to different parts of the city. So I completed my 10th and 12th in Udaipur, Rajasthan, and then thereafter I gave the entrance examination and moved on to Maharashtra, where I completed my engineering. Again, that was a very less known place, but Latur is one place which made it very famous during the plague, if most of the people know. So it's very near to that. Osmanabad is the place. So I did my engineering in Osmanabad in computer science. This was between 95 to 99 and graduated in 1999. And then thereafter, I did 1 year of internship in a small company in Udaipur and then moved to Mumbai around the same time. Mumbai was my transformation taking place kind of journey. The moment I reached Mumbai, I understood what are the challenges of somebody looking out for job in the dynamic market. The struggle of moving around with the crowd, moving in the local trains, meeting a lot of people. I did something which was not to be done by a software engineer, but I had only one thing in my mind, that at some point in my career, I would really be able to make a significant difference, because I had one belief in myself. Second thing, the confidence and the ability with which actually I was moving. I was 100% sure that I'll do something definitely to keep my parents and my loved ones proud about it. Right. And with that, typically I did whatever came my way at that point in time. And thereafter I moved to Bangalore in 2000, early 2000. So somewhere around January. And my friends were in CDAC. They completed their graduation in CDAC and they got into different organizations. And Satyam Computers used to be one of the very favorite company. Today we call about Infosys, Wipro, TCS and all. Satyam Computer then back in 2000 was one of the most sought after organization for somebody to join. So a couple of my friends joined there. Some of them joined in Lucent. And I had an opportunity where I could typically get my first major break into Ericsson. But let me tell you, because it's a life journey and I would want to put it across on the ground, I had given 76 interviews, Shiv, and 76 times I had not passed. Those 76 opportunities where I initially 10 or 12 were very disappointing. I felt typically that I don't know whether I'll really make it to the life. Obviously, there were friends and my family around who were always there to boost me up. And thereafter, it became more of learn. I mean, it was not that I was not qualified. It's just that I couldn't make it. I used to clear the tech round, but somewhere I used to struggle in the group discussions or any such scenario. Sometimes if I get to make there, then their positions were very less. And so a lot of these learnings were there. I used to take a note of that and I had a logbook where I used to write down what did I do wrong and how do I overcome that part.
Wow.
So 76 times when I did it, I think the interview which I had with Ericsson, I still remember the first interview, which was in person in Hyderabad. 11 rounds of interview. I spent almost 6 hours. If you don't believe today, if somebody tells that it is 6-hour interview, people will not even like to go for that. But yes, obviously, at the end of the day, I got the offer in hand, and that was my major career breakthrough. And thereafter, I never looked back. So the life was very good. I spent almost around 5 years in Hyderabad, got married, then moved back to Bangalore in 2004, May 2004, and joined a company called Sasken Technologies Limited. Spent around 5 years there, moved up the ladder to become project manager. Around 2 or 3 years I spent there and then left in 2008, December. In 2009, I joined IBM in February and spent 2 years in IBM. Now, my career transformation when I joined IBM to the time I left IBM in the 2 years had been significant, because it was a time when I have undergone majority of the learning behaviors. Let me tell you, IBM had one of the best systems in the entire industry, IT industry or software industry, we call it. They spent almost 20% of their annual budgeting on upskilling people on the behavioral side, leadership side. And I had amazing, so for example, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People from Stephen Covey, I had actually attended in person. So it was something which was a pride moment for me. I mean, I can't even explain. I had undergone MBTI, I had undergone negotiating to say yes, crucial conversations with customer, various such interventions I had undergone. I mean, amazing journey. And then 2011, February 14th, Valentine's Day. I actually probably associate my Valentine's to Sasken, so I came back to Sasken in the role of a PMO.
Yeah.
And then it has been now 16 years. The organization over here, Sasken Technologies Limited now, had given me enough space for me to grow. And I believe one gets such an environment where you typically can be appreciated by your colleague, I had mentor in my organization, which was head of marketing, Swami Krishnan, and who helped me. And then there were other seniors who helped me to transform. I grew horizontally. Usually people always grow vertically up in the ladder.
Yeah.
So for example, a software engineer becomes a senior software engineer, then a senior software engineer becomes a technical leader, and likewise they just grow up in the hierarchy in a single chain. But I never believed in that because, again, things came my way. When I joined as a PMO, then there was another function called as Management Representative Office, and that was something which nobody knows in the industry what it means. But then back my manager, who's Dr. Selvaraj Vadivelu today, Selvaraj Vadivelu, he had a belief in myself, and he said, Anees, there are things which are something which nobody would like to do because they do not get called with some specific title in the organization. So people usually get very fascinated with AVP, VP, senior VPs and all.
Yeah.
The passion is not really with respect to the title. I think it's more about what you want to bring back to the community. And I think I have strongly believed, and it is actually a live scenario for me. If you are able to passionately do what you love to do and what you can deliver to the society at large, and society includes all of your customers and suppliers also, by the way. Society is just not community. When we talk community, includes all of these stakeholders. I have been able to grab that opportunity. Then I led the external audit certifications. I upskilled myself, got into the lead auditor certifications for ISO 9001, 14001, 27001, 7701, and everything. Got the organization certified in India, in Finland, in various streams. What I also got an opportunity to do at that point in time is the organization quality, both in the engineering side and the corporate side in Sasken. The quality lead left, and then that also came on as a responsibility. Somebody said, would you like to grab it? And I said, yes.
Okay.
I grouped everything into one common umbrella called operational excellence, because finally everything is related to how do you deliver this to enable the business. And thereafter, I got various opportunities. So today I have multiple portfolios which I had. Operational excellence is one large portfolio in which a lot of these things are there: certifications, quality assurance, audits, and many such things. Customer feedback management. Plus, then I acquired and then took the organization to become mature in the privacy space. So 2017, I started the effort on EU GDPR. Today, Sasken is EU GDPR, US CCPA, Japan APPI, India Data Privacy Act. We are just upgrading our systems to China, and various such regulations we implemented in the organization. Today, I actually stand as a data privacy specialist as well as DPO, Data Privacy Officer at Sasken.
Okay.
And in the last 6 years, I have actually had capability development organization, which was Campus Connect, going to campus, hiring the freshers. So in 2022, we hired almost 450 freshers.
Oh.
It's 1/4 of the size of the organization in Sasken because of 2,000 people. Doing that, transforming the entire function, handing it over to another leader, and then I was given the responsibility to lead the workforce management. So today I also have the global workforce management in the organization. Now, from where I started to what I do today, if I just try to relate what engineering has done to me, what computer science and engineering has done to me today, I don't think I can actually do software programs, but I think that's not what I built for. Maybe I did that, but that was very, very helpful for me to initiate my career, take it to a trajectory, and thereafter I think there were lots of interventions which happened which transformed me as a professional. And then I got associated with this beautiful organization in 2009 when I did my PMP Shiv with PMI, Project Management Institute, where I have had an opportunity to not only just get the certification done, because one thing I learned is in India, most of the professionals love to do certifications. It's easy to get it.
Yeah.
They don't really do what is required to do after the certification is done. Whether it could be PMP, it could be ISTQB, it could be CSM, many such things. I've met more than 10,000 professionals so far in my career, Shiv. And I've attended actually more than in this financial year, rather in the calendar year 2025, I've attended more than around 50 conferences or events. And that gives me an immense opportunity to connect to a lot of people. So I do a lot of networking. I learn about people. I'm very passionate to learn about people. I tell my stories and they love to hear that. And that helps me to, take it back and then build a story and narrate to somebody else. And what it does is people usually love to compare themselves with somebody like-minded in the industry. And I've been just telling them it's not about the comparison, just understand if there's something somebody has been doing and you find that there's a sweet spot for you, then how do I reach there if you really want to do that? Or why don't you bring out the best potential in yourself? So I did a lot of work along with PMI in the global projects. PMCD was one of that, which we spent almost 7 to 8 years. It's a long time because we were all doing voluntarily and in the available time which we have had. And this was primarily the soft side of the project manager.
Okay.
So usually it is believed that if you do a PMP certification, you know how to manage a project. And what it typically does is just like in engineering, you would learn different subjects and then how do you apply those in the real time when you get into the industry. The PMP certification just tells you the hardcore technical side of what a project manager is supposed to do. For example, how do you manage requirements better? How do you do scoping out? How do you manage quality? How do you manage risks and various such things? But I think that's an hygiene. A project manager without that doesn't typically or is not qualified to be called as a project manager in my view. But what's less understood and not typically harvested or even people actually spend their efforts on, or organization doesn't invest their time and money on is to understand the human side of the project manager.
Yeah.
So this framework primarily brought in the human side of the project manager, and that's where we integrated this in Sasken today as one of the method to determine the competence of project manager. And then we have created several levels based on how do they transform themselves. And why we have had that level is because one, it is behavioral. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes at least 6 months to a year. Behavioral transformation takes time through coaching interventions we do mentoring and various such things. But first to have a self-discovery of themselves, to know about them better. So I usually do this through an interview method, and there are various buckets of skills. And I would just very briefly tell you, for example, somebody talking about their customer management skill. How do you do a relationship building with a customer? How do you understand the cultural nuances? Because today in the VUCA world and the geographical diverse industry in which we are operating, people work across US, Europe, Japan, China. And I think most of the professionals do not take that effort to understand how things happen in different culture. So I'll give an example. For example, a project manager expecting that I have done an estimation, I will actually be able to deliver a project, a fixed price project within timeline customer is expecting, let us say 6 months. And you have major stakeholders, which is coming from Finland, right? One thing they need to understand is Finland works 7.5 hours. You can't force them to work for 8 hours or 9 hours. Not force, but rather expect also. Unlike actually in Indian tradition, and nothing wrong about it, we are born and brought up that way. We work 10 hours, 12 hours, and I think people get the trophies and awards for working more time, spending their weekends, burning midnight oil. And then I mean, I'm sure you must have also come across a lot of people who typically would be appreciated for that extra effort they put. But at the same time, we're not the most happiest country in the world. But Finland is, because the government spends a lot of time on allowing people to discover themselves and live their personal life to the fullest so that they can actually be very effective when they come to work. Second thing is in July, usually in a June-July timeframe, they have a 6 week of holiday break. They call it summer vacations. And this gentleman did not take taken that into account while doing an estimation, and they had thought that people would work during those, and suddenly got surprised when they found that in a fixed price project, 6 weeks, there's nobody to work around there. And when they were escalated, the managers out there said that this is something which we already told during the estimation, but you never listened to us. Now, what it does tell is that it's just not that you primarily do in a standard way. You have to also contextualize it. Understand the cultural dynamics of how people work, how they operate, how would they communicate to you. How do you build that first connect or a relationship with somebody? So during this framework conversations, we also discovered the cultural, I would say, capability of the people on how do they work with different cultures. Their own culture, wherever they have been able to work. We're not expecting that they suddenly learn culture of all the countries, but at least they were very curious to understand that part. Same thing, thinking skill is another area where we said we usually very, very loosely use this term out of the box thinking. What does it mean? So we'll give an anecdotal example if they don't have anything. And usually it's all fact based. So I'll give an hypothetical scenario saying that, okay, now this is a situation. Tell me, how would your conventional wisdom allow you to crack this problem? If it not, then how would you do it differently? People attempt it, and then some of them, they bring it up, some of them don't. Then I said, okay, this is an area maybe you would want to do something differently. And then likewise, so there are a lot of such things which are very, very interesting, and people spend a lot of time talking about themselves, Shiv. I mean, I am very passionate, by the way. Let me not generalize it too, but at least those 130 souls to whom I spoke to, which are called as project manager by title, they were very, very happy to talk about themselves. And I was very fortunate that I was able to open up that. And this included extroverts. Obviously, extroverts are very, very good at expressing themselves the way I do. And there were also introverts. There were people who were absolutely brilliant mindsets, but I think not a lot of people were talking to them.
Okay.
It takes time for us to connect with them and let them open up. But once they become good, they find that I'm in a safe space. I think people want to first understand that whether I'm in a safe space. Should I open up? Should I not open up? Because and I hope it's okay when I just switch the context, Shiv. Because in MBTI, the self-awareness through the psychometric assessment also tells the personality type of people.
Yeah.
And each one of us are different personality type, and each one of us have different methods to express ourselves, to talk about things. And there's nothing called as a weakness in my view. It's just that there's something which is not been harvested to its best potential. Each one of us carry a huge amount of potential in ourselves. It's a matter of finding a right mentor. It's a matter of finding a right person who could elevate your potential. If I can't do myself, there's somebody else who is typically helping me to bring out the best potential. That's how my potential was brought out by then Selvaraj Vadivelu, who found that there's something which is there in this professional and let me harvest it and bring it out. And today, I'm ever thankful to him for his life. For the entire life, what he has given to me, because otherwise I would not have done what I have done today. So I think while I talked a lot, this is in a nutshell, Shiv, about my personal and professional career journey. Though not too much personal I spoke about, but I have my I have my immediate family. My wife, who's a working teacher. She's a honors in mathematics and statistics. She still teaches in the school in Christ Academy in Bangalore. And I have two wonderful sons. The elder one is in engineering, third year engineering right now, 21 years old. And the younger one is in the 12th grade. So I have the best of both the world in terms of how do I bring up the kids.
Wonderful, Anees. I think there is a lot of things that you mentioned, and which kind of triggered my curiosity. Also based on some of our earlier association things that we did. So the first thing is you spoke about the role of mentors. Particularly named two people, Swami Krishnan and Selvaraj Vadivelu. And you also talked about networking, something that you like to do, and then stay connected and so on. So since we are primarily targeting this at people who are in the software industry, many of the things that you said are applicable across.
Yes.
When should one start networking? Is it while in college, while studying, or when you're still in a, say, in the entry-level roles, or when you take on more responsibilities, become a leader, manager, whatever?
Okay, I think that's a very, very interesting question, Shiv. And obviously one of my favorite, and I did it very late. Let me admit that. I used to be very, very shy of going on a stage. If somebody pushes me on stage, I would just freeze like uh, a pillar of stone, because I don't know what to do. And I used to get butterflies in the stomach looking at the audience out there and totally mouth shut. And from there till today, where I typically speak in front of around 10,000 people, it's a huge transformation. And I think a lot of this goes to networking, because I think professional, by the way, there is no age to do networking. Networking, in my view, is of two types. One is in a personal space and second is in a public space. So usually people have a close friend circle, and we are very comfortable opening up and speaking to our friends, and we know that they know us, and then I should be able to easily express myself. They'll understand me and things like that. And this is called as a personal safe zone. So it's about the safety. If I just actually draw in a continuum, the safe zone is a public space, as an outer circle, and an inner circle, which is a private space. Now the transformation is between the private space to the public space, and how do I move there, right? The most important thing which I learned is that even today, let's say you have a classroom setup and you are doing a behavioral transformation training, and an instructor out there says that, okay, let us form groups. People just look around and see who I know first, and then just try to sit with them, or get into a group, because they're very comfortable talking. Versus they sit in any table and say, I'm very comfortable, and then talk to a stranger. They don't know what to talk about it. And I think that's the only thing. So my view, it's not that difficult. One can easily speak to any stranger, as long as, obviously, yes, the stranger is not in a place where it's so for example, you becoming very I usually talk to everybody, okay, even a taxi driver or a bus conductor, or it could be a security guard. I'm just talking about a very, very layman terms, in terms of when I move around, who all I speak to. But what you need to speak to them, you need to be a little cautious about, because you don't know how people take you and what you get into in those kind of situations, versus in a professional environment. So let us keep it in a professional environment. There's no harm in telling hello or hi to anybody when you meet. And more importantly, I think people should go to the industry events and conferences, or I would say the simplest thing. And okay, by the one thing which I didn't talk about myself is, when I actually became a Toastmaster, this was in 2011. And around that time, we set up a Toastmaster club in Sasken, because I wanted to give it back to a lot of professionals in terms of elevating their public speaking skills. It's always important, because whether you face a customer interview, whether you typically go and express your confidence to anybody else out there, or want to network it out, you need to get into that public space. And public space doesn't mean that always you go on big stage. Even in front of 4 people, if you're able to stand and confidently speak, I think that's where you break the ice. So I spent almost around a decade and half, around 14 to 15 years in Toastmaster, and which helped me to bring out more honed capability within myself. And I was able to transform a lot of people through their confidence built up and things like that. And today, one of the best way to do networking at any stage, any age, when you graduate from the college or you typically get into an industry, is join a nearby Toastmaster club in whatever place you are into. In India, I think and in fact in Bangalore, I would say every corner or every area where your office is situated or your house is situated, you'll find one Toastmaster club where you can go, and then that will help you to network with a lot of different kind of people. Nobody knows you, you don't know anybody, but you'll make friends. And I think the moment that
nice.
happens, when you start doing that connect, the confidence gets built up, and then I think you transform yourself from the private space to the public space. So any age, I think any age it is possible, and I think that is the most powerful method for somebody to actually grow whether it is vertical or horizontal. I think that's one tip of advice which I would want to give it to people, and it's easy, it's not tough.
Yeah, very nice. It does sound easy, but I guess it's always the first step. So talking about networking, I know that you've also been associated with another network, the BSPIN.
Yeah.
This is also called a network. Maybe for the benefit of our listeners, if you can talk briefly about why BSPIN and then what are the activities that BSPIN is doing and then how you are trying to leverage the power of the network.
Okay, so I think BSPIN had been associated with for almost 7-8 years, but I was in a very, very passive mode, meaning was contributing to whatever best I could do then. And again, Selvaraj introduced me to BSPIN, and I used to go to their conference and events, and I had great mentors out there. Vishu is one of my favorite, with whom I actually understand mindfulness and how important and it is for individual to practice mindfulness. Plus, a lot of beautiful sessions used to happen from veterans out there, KSG Shankar and various such things, who are actually at some point in time in their life, in the professional life, we're talking about a lot of the process frameworks. And by the way, I would love to give that example and how we are trying to now do things differently in BSPIN versus how it used to happen. Because there was an era when a lot of things used to be driven through a methodical or a process-based way. So, for example, if I say that, okay, I have to follow a process in an organization and I have to only do things in a certain way because it produces consistent outcomes. So it's not wrong. But what people actually were not doing was they were not able to contextualize it to the business need or the customer need. When the Agile came in, again, everybody ran for doing certifications and everybody said that I want to move to Agile. Nobody gave a different thought that in an Agile world, it is about being Agile and not doing Agile alone. Because I mean, I cannot say that I'm doing daily stand-up, but I'm actually doing the daily stand-up for 1 hour, because then I'm not doing things differently. And then, not embracing it in the right way led to major failures. It's not about the framework to be blamed for. It's just that we are not able to contextualize. So everything had to be contextualized to it. BSPIN had been silent for quite some time now. And then I had a gentleman, Kumar Manish from Infosys, who approached to me one day and said that, Anees, Sasken, we had been associated for a long time, almost a decade and so, and we would love to get you back. You have been kind enough to offer up the space and a lot of mentorship with Dr. Selvaraj earlier. Would you like to get back to join BSPIN? And I said, absolutely fine. And I said, if there is a opportunity for me to do some kind of transformation and giving back to the community, which I'm doing through other platforms like PMI, then I joined CXO Connects. I would love to take up that space and let me know how to reach there. So obviously we went through an evaluation stage to get into the executive council, and then I got onboarded there. And I think now I would say it's a reformation of BSPIN. We got new fresh blood out there. There are some veterans out there, and then we decided on how do we frame the entire vision and what do we do differently in the industry to bring in transformation. So we created different verticals. So we said, okay, fine, somebody would be a mentor and guide to people in the industry on the artificial intelligence, because today everybody is again talking about generative AI and AI. Less understood topic, but how do we really create an impact by understanding it right in small bit-size learnings, and how do we package it together? Then the other important area which India recently became very aggressive on is on the data privacy act. Now, data privacy in India doesn't go hand in hand, if somebody asks me that question, because we very, very open to share a lot of personal information with people out there.
Yeah.
How do we, as a country, elevate ourselves to, understand the nuances of privacy, what we should not, how do we take care of stuff? And there is a method which has been understood, but how do we implement it? When most of the organizations are, there are startups and a lot of companies trying to make money by, putting across specialization in specific area. But again, nobody is spending time in terms of elevating the quotient on how do you understand the topic itself. What is the meaning of a privacy? What happens when you go to a YouTube and share your personal information, or in a Facebook or a social media platform? What you should not do. So it's just starting from there. So that's another area, and then the project and program management is another area. So I just picked up program management and then data privacy as these two areas or verticals, I would call it, to see how do I bring back the transformation and give back to the community in a volunteering space, because volunteering just gives me a lot of pleasure. One, it is not monetary associated, and second, it is more about your passion which you brings it alive. Usually when you associate with the monetary stuff, obviously that's required. Money is required for you to do the work, but thankfully Sasken is to take care of it. I spend my weekdays out there, and weekend I actually do it in organizations like BSPIN, where we could bring in a difference. So I think BSPIN is coming in a new avatar. I would say to people, let's stay tuned to it and see actually how do we bring the small transformations which people are looking forward to.
Yeah, wonderful. You talked about these verticals, and one of them being this whole Gen AI or the AI related. Now, traditionally, the belief has always been get your process right, then you will be able to have predictability, you can scale, and you can reduce the dependence on people, etc.
Yeah.
But then with a Gen AI type of an approach, which usually, as an example, if you're asking any of these chatbots, they would give you a more contextual answer, even if their, say, knowledge base is the same. Now, when you want to have an adaptive organization that is resilient and so on, and you also talked about the focus on outcomes rather than doing agile, right? Do you see any conflict or challenges in working with the goal in mind, but then be adaptive in terms of the processes? Mainly from, let's say, the consistent customer experience perspective.
I'm saying that let's take Gen AI as a topic, Shiv. When the wave came in, everybody wanted to be part of the race and nobody wanted to miss out. So I've seen this urgency which happens. An organization is actually not a tangible entity out there. It's just there, and a group of people actually form an organization, right? But usually it is always the top driven, is what I've seen. Somebody at the top says that we want to transform the entire organization into a set of people who should think about being AI expert or Gen AI expert. Most of the people don't understand what it is, but everybody starts curiously going out and doing all the kind of courses and just try to become Gen AI expert. I haven't done this. It's just a foundational level knowledge somebody is giving you in terms of understanding what it is, right? And nobody wanted to miss out on the rest, so nothing wrong about it. Yes, I wanted to be there because people will stop recognizing me. What they don't understand is it needs a lot of patience. And as you told, goal-oriented in generative AI itself, it's a huge topic, very, very vast. What is the goal of us as an organization in terms of implementing that? Finally, which should deliver some value to the customer. Because if you do it wrong, I think you do more damage than doing anything good. Now, when we started doing it, the first thing was to understand, one, what are the areas in which we should leverage it? Let us say engineering as an area. Are there manual jobs done today? And we always used to have test automation using Python, Java, Selenium, and things like that. So suddenly what AI is going to do differently, right? So let's say that there is something which is a repeatable stuff and which you could always utilize an LLM to, so finally it is a programming which you do at the back end to, look at the entire source of data, and then how do you mine this, generate some useful output which could primarily accelerate your entire testing life cycle.
Mhm.
Then I think it makes a lot of sense. But first, people have to understand the topic. What is the LLM about? Try to collaborate with people who are already aware of it. Utilize the potential of open source if you can't spend money on buying some tools out there. And try and integrate, and it may start giving slowly some benefits out. Suddenly, you cannot actually expect that it would transform the way people are working. So I think one of the most important thing which I learned during this generative AI journey is people started firing people, saying that, oh, we don't need so many people, let's have the bots or the Gen AI do the work for me. And then they realized, oh, the human in the loop is missing. One of the most favorite topic in most of the conferences or events today, where is human in the loop? Because even if there is an insight which is generated out, somebody is there to actually make the decision out of it, because we were doing traditionally all these days using a human in the loop. And now machines cannot make decisions on behalf of organizations, because then you don't even know whether it's right or it is wrong. And then the governance is also going very hard, like the EU AI Act came in, the India Data Privacy Act, which is coming with the AI, and everybody is out there to say that, oh, you're not doing it in the ethical way. Machines can't make decisions. I'll give an example. If you are hiring, and you put a generative AI algorithm out there to filter out people who are capable, but then it says that no, resume is not written in the right way. And then we crib on the other side that we don't have too many professionals in industries. I think that itself is a problem. Because you don't spend your effort or time in understanding what exactly you want, and you are asking machines to make the decisions without even actually allowing yourself to talk to. If you don't talk to people, again, bringing the networking aspect, if you don't talk to an individual, you don't even know basically what's the good or what is the area of improvement. And I think we are doing more damage with the fast-paced industry in which we are moving by not embracing it in the right way. Technology is not going to stop. We have to learn the way to adapt it in the right way. We have to pause, we have to think and act. And I think I'll just spend 30 seconds on this, Shiv. In my organization, in my own organization, people who report to me directly, I have given 2 hours in a week. I said 2 hours, you should not do anything. Sit, pause, think what I have done in the entire week. Can I do it differently? Because otherwise we are just trying to solve hundreds of problems in a day, and we're not going anywhere. Nobody has, because if you ask somebody, I said, I don't have time. And everybody says, I don't have time. I said, please never forget the COVID era. When you were in hospital, everybody had only the luxury of time and you had nothing else. The Mother Earth had given time to revive itself, and everybody had time in their life, because then life was most precious than anything else. All models, AI, non-AI, everything falls apart, because then the only thing you had was time. So do not forget that, because today in the mad race of we accelerating or running without even thinking a context out there, without having a goal-oriented approach in mind, without doing it in the right way, I think we are going to spend more time in doing things than typically what we were used to do traditionally. So I think it is important to understand the right way.
Yeah, that's actually very, very, I think, critical to understand the importance of time and how we kind of use this. So that, I think we are also kind of getting towards the end of the time for this conversation, but then there are still a couple of points I would like to get your perspective.
And Shiv, if you allow me, I'll just give one suggestion of a book if anybody would like to read. And I can introduce them to the author also, who's one of my favorite, and I love to talk to them. Obviously, one is, and two I'll give. One is The Juggling Elephants. It's by Jones Laughlin and Todd Music. These are the two authors who wrote this book many years ago, The Juggling Elephants. And it talks about the concept of intermission.
Okay.
And intermission is primarily, they said, in the way we do things. And the entire story in the book is so wonderfully written. It's about a circus, how a father takes the kids and then explain the entire theory of life. How do you create your personal space, professional space, and the intermission? Intermission is when you now we are in intermission space, for example. The Christmas and the year-end break gives us time for us to spend time with family, reset our mind, and then we do things in a better way. It's not about what resolution you take in the 2026, but it's about how do you reset your mind. It's a wonderful book. I think people should read it, and you can practically apply it in a simplest way, and it gives you a lot of power. Anybody who is willing to typically connect me to Jones Laughlin, I would love to do that. Todd Music.
Okay.
Second is for professionals who want to grow in their career. What got you here will not get you there, by Marshall Goldsmith. And I think I can connect you to Marshall as well, because that's another book which actually gave me a different perspective of what we need. Because as you move up, it's more behavioral than anything else. As you move up in the career, it's only behavior. It's nothing to do with because you would already proven your metal using your technical capability or depth. Nobody questions on that part. It's more your behavior. How do you do things differently? Your attitude matters a lot. Your way of communication, your presentation, negotiation capability, your networking and collaboration skills. I think those are the things which matters as you move up. And that book gives a lot of meat for somebody to read it. And obviously there are more, but then I think these two are something which I would like to recommend.
Yeah, very nice. I just had two questions I wanted to ask you before you go. Now, one is with this juggling multiple things, even in your current role. Okay, you have your full-time role. Even within that, you said your portfolio has diverse things, including workforce management and privacy and all those kinds of things. Plus, you find time for your networking and other things. And you also mentioned the importance of time.
Yeah.
So how do you manage your time? Any tips for people to fit in more, so to say, than whatever they're doing now?
Yeah, I think that's a very important question, Shiv, and thanks for asking that. So what I usually do, I plan my day. In the morning, when I reach office, I have certain meetings and agendas in the day. Something I've kept 1 hour for ad hoc stuff because that always comes. Most of us do not practice to say no. Because we have a set agenda and then a lot of things which are ad hoc, and then people keep taking it up. They do not say no. Second thing, they do not prioritize. Because everybody has some urgency. Everyone wants something yesterday. So what I do is I actually just tell them politely that yes, I will do it. I'll give you two options. If you want me to do this, let's say if my boss is asking something, I'll ask the simple question. I'm into this, and then you're asking me to do something else. I'll stop this and start doing this and give it to you. But then I would be able to deliver so and so by so and so time. Is it okay with you? Or the other option is I find out the right people below me to delegate that stuff. And it's not just in time. Obviously, I know basically who's expert. And I've been able to find time for myself because I've been able to grow people below me. I've been able to empower them to take decisions. I've been able to empower them to do the job. And obviously did delegation beautifully, because if leaders don't do that or people don't do that, then you get choked up. Then you don't find time. Then there are things, if I just put it in a 4x4 quadrant, I mean the urgency and important, the Johari's window. I do not focus on something which is less urgent or less important, because then that's something which is not there on my day. I would like to do that when typically I think that it's good to do it at some certain point in time, but the must-have should get resolved. Now this is about the work at Monday to Friday. On a Saturday, it's usually a time which I would like to spend with my family. My kids are looking forward to me. Right. But one advantage which I have, at least in my case, is that my wife is working for Saturday, half days working for her.
Okay.
And my younger son also goes to school some days. Some days he's not available, but that's okay. So what I do is I spend limited time on the weekend, usually virtually, so that I'm not traveling anywhere and able to do things. But if there is in person, then I always make my schedule the entire week at the beginning of the week. And I make sure that I spend equal time with my family on a Sunday, so that actually they're not deprived of the personal attention. a lot of things, if you plan it well, if you are able to have the ability to say no, if you are able to delegate, then I think you can easily make out time and do a lot of stuff, which we usually don't.
Yeah. So the related question that I had was when you manage time and then you're doing a lot of things, there is also this call it overhead or the need for context switching.
Hmm.
And not everything probably would go at the pace that you would like it to,
Yeah.
which could possibly either evoke emotions
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
various things, either disappointment or frustration or anger or tiredness or
Yeah.
whatever. So, do you have any personal practices that you would like to share to say stay grounded?
So one thing I started doing, and this is though my religious stuff, but it gave me a lot of time to think. Shiv, is in 2025, mid of 2025, my wife and I, we went for Hajj. It's
Mm,
considered to be one of the most difficult journey, and I would indeed say it's a difficult journey because physically it exhausts you.
okay.
Mentally it exhausts you because being in a unknown territory, among around people from more than 150 countries, practicing a lot of those rituals is in a tough terrain of 52 degrees temperature and all. It talks a lot of this, so we had to mentally and physically prepare ourselves 2 to 3 months ahead of us. So I
Mm-hmm.
started doing yoga because I said I don't want to actually go to gym or do anything,
Mm,
because everybody told me you have to walk for 12 to 15 kilometers a day, and usually I will not
okay.
do 12 to 15 kilometers a day. And
Mm,
there we were able to do it very well because we prepared ourselves very well.
okay.
Now, what happens in general is, and I maintain that routine daily. I spend at least 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes of yoga,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it allows me. But if I have to do it, I do it just for 5 minutes also, but I do it. The
Mm,
day I have leisure, I actually do it for 1 hour also, right? But
mm-hmm.
I do never miss that routine. One thing is, should not miss the routine. Now that gives me a lot of mindfulness throughout my day. When I am in office, I obviously have this situation very often to do context switching.
Mm,
1 hour somebody says there is a contract waiting for me to review the data privacy agreement clauses, and then I have to actually reply to that. And suddenly there is something which is burning out, an issue on the demand and supply thing, where somebody says that, oh no, I have an urgent customer problem to be solved, can you please give me a capable resource out there?
mm,
Can't do both together. One, I just tell them that please have patience, I'll get back to you by so and so time.
mm-hmm.
You have my team, please talk to them. If they're not able to resolve me, let me know why they were not able to resolve me.
Yeah.
Because everything, if you bring it up to me, you are choking up to me, and then you are failing yourselves. You are not believing in my
Mm,
team who is able to do the job. If they
mm,
were not able to do, fine, we'll note it down. Then later I'll have a conversation with my team. Tell me, how would you do it better next time?
mm,
But at the same time, I would attend to, let us say, the data privacy part and then complete that. Takes 1 hour or 2 hour, whatever it is. And then move on to this and then, okay, now tell me, where do we stand? So maybe half problem would have got solved by then.
mm,
Second, that urgency would have gone away because I just told them,
mm-hmm.
if you do not have the capability to go back and have a dialogue with your customer who's asking, I want now, what if it is not now?
Yeah.
You have only two options, that you lose the deal or you typically are able to serve it in a later time.
Mm,
And the urgency from the other side is there, but you will have to have a polite conversation and a negotiation with the customer saying that, yes, I will give you, allow me to find the right person and right capability, what is required to do for this particular project, and I'll get back to you within 24 hours, at least by that time.
yeah.
So I would just enable those conversations so that at least then people are on their job and I'm not getting stuck and I'm able to switch the context.
Very nice.
But one thing, Shiv, which is a very, very important, I had also a scenario where somebody from my home is reaching out to me continuously, and I've said, no, I'm cutting the call and I'm busy with something else. Never do that. You should never ignore that conversation. Even if you're in a customer meeting, they are human beings. Please
Mm,
pause, request them saying that I have an urgent call to attend to,
mm,
and it's my personal call. I just would want to have a conversation, and then I never actually do not take a call.
mm,
I keep my family informed if I'm in a conversation like we are doing right now, to not disturb me. But if I'm getting a call from them, I'll just pause here and I'll go and
yeah.
attend, because I don't know what is actually brewing up there.
Mm,
And I have a conversation, I'll just tell them that I'm getting back, and they are very comfortable there. So people have to also make sure that they have that dialogue or conversation, because then that would help them to manage the context better.
Wonderful. So on that note, Anees, thanks a lot for sharing your perspectives and a lot of practical tips in terms of how you've done many of these things. I'm sure there will be questions, so we'll include your contact handles in the show notes. So
Sure.
if you want to, would be able to reach out to you.
And I'm glad actually that we have had this conversation, Shiv. I mean, I really felt really great to speak to you after a long time, and then talking a lot about this journey of my life. So thank you so much.
We thank Siddharth for the music and Anita for promoting the Software People stories.
If you like this episode,
Please subscribe on your favorite podcast client.
And spread the word in your network.
if you'd like to share your story,
Contact us at podcasts@pm-powerconsulting.com.